look, not only do you have those three players that you just mentioned, but Card, Kaio, and Tander are kind of household South American
That
names
is
too.
true. That is true. And we've seen Kaio since the beginning. That's what I love about the player. I think in Season 1, we were running into him in ranked, Jorby, and he's still out here grinding.
And still getting better as it goes. Noble, a bunch of, if you want to call them old heads of South American Rocket League, all 6 of these players are. And here comes the first goal from Firefox. He punches that one in easy.
Yeah, and it's all about that little midfield pass here from Renan. As Kai was trying to go for a dribble in the corner, I like and respect the idea, but that first touch just got away from him, gave away possession. That's a very easy punishing goal for Noble, and just like the last series for Novus, it's a poor start.
Well, Tander gets the follow-up on that kickoff, but this is going to be a push for Renan. Card able to get right over. Firefox had attempted to go for a demo onto him, and I expect Novus to, well, they're going to have to contend with that a lot. They might even employ that because in their game, they had to employ physicality, Turtle, to finally pull off said reverse sweep and get to this point.
Well, and I was looking at a lot of the stats for the previous series where Novus had to get the reverse sweep, and Math on the side of Catalyst was stealing on average 5 big boost pads on Novus's side per game. That is insane. So he was starving every ounce of boost he could find from Novus and that roster, which was taking away a lot of the impact that Kaio, Card, and Tander can make on the field because of how mechanical they are, Jorby.
Now, Card back in the corner here. They haven't really been able to keep this ball away from Noble. Habercamper lost the ball. Kaio trying to punish. Does the ball roll in? It does. Well, bouncer, more like it, but either way, Novus time.
Yep, and this was all off the demo here. You can see Kaio then goes up for the aerial. A really simple and slow shot, but as long as you put it on net with the demo involved, you're going to get a goal. We're all tied up here, Jorby.
And for Novus, important to get that game-tying goal a little early, especially with how Noble were starting to look on defense. But to break it, and after Habercamper lost the touch, do something to help Novus keep control of their wits in Game 1 and not let themselves go down a couple of games early like has happened earlier.
Yeah, and we did even hear the coach, Mateus, in the interview talk about, you know, how Novus seemed to struggle in that first series of the day, but once they get warmed up, I mean, they do not stop or let up with the pressure. And I was a bit worried when I saw Noble get that first goal. Things didn't look too clean on the defensive side, but maybe that was first game jitters because it has been all Novus on the offensive half, taking the boost, winning 50s like that from Kaio, and keeping this ball in the no path.
And good rotation there from Firefox to pick up the save off of what was a threatening pass coming from Novus. Kaio gets another catch here, has enough boost to make the challenge happen against Habercamper. Now weaving his way through, he'll punch the ball out for Card, who does get there, but not before the ball is challenged. He will steal the boost away from Habercamper. This might lead to more push on the orange half for Novus. And we'll wait with Kaio here. Wants the pass to Card, and he will sneak it back over to that side. But Habercamper wins the boost, and Noble looked pretty clean on defense.
Yeah, Noble, when they carried it out, you know, it looks solid like you were saying, but the passing game is not even close to the level that we're seeing on the side of Novus. Look at these midfield passes, then Card coming in for the final shot. All Noble have is just a booming clear to the other side, but they're giving away possession. That's a good interception, though, that could lead to something. We're finally seeing Noble break out.
Oh, Renan was looking for Habercamper, but he didn't like the risk involved there. He saw that Novus were waiting for him to try to challenge that ball because he was beat positionally. Smart to sit back, but he's still back in net. Firefox just wins the ball. Tander races back and picks up a save, but that was a close one. Novus almost let it through.
I thought maybe we were going to see a pinch play from the defensive side. You can see Tander, and I believe it was Card, crashing the net at the same time. Ideally, I would love to see a pinch there, but the clear is all you need to get from one player. Don't go for anything too crazy. As Firefox, the miss on the flip, I'm sure he thought somebody else was going to go and went for a challenge instead, but this ball, it's back and forth, Jorby. It started out, I'd say, in the dominant half of Novus, but now it's kind of shifted to just being even in the midfield. The demo, though, will shift the favor onto the side of Novus.
And Habercamper, he was the guy on the assignment here. He sees Kaio, couldn't find any room to avoid Tander. As he came down, all he saw was Kaio. Tander was completely blocked in his point of view until he got to the ground, Turtle. It wasn't until Tander was already in his face that he demoed him, and now he digs some salt into the wound. Tander picks up another goal.
It's crazy because this is what was the kryptonite against Novus for the team Catalyst. And then now Novus come out here with a lovely cheat on the kickoff. So fast to get to that ball is Tander and get a flip on net. That's how you have a solid kickoff. And yet again, he's there for the 50. Solid positional plays from this man, Jordan.
We'll see what Noble can respond with as we approach the final minute of game one. Habercamper, no chance on that read. And Renan wants a pass to Firefox. The passing ideas are there for no key difference. And Turtle, you were alluding to this earlier, as Kaio, he makes contact? He did. That was a tight angle shot with a little bit of power on it. But the main difference has been the passing ideas for Novus, they've been connecting on. And Noble, it's been a little disjointed, but you do like that the idea is there. Habercamper tried to just let it rip against Kaio, saved.
Well, and that was a perfect example. You can see Habercamper was going up for the defensive dribble out on the transition, and instead of looking to get it to a teammate, he simply just double jumped at the net. And again, Firefox, the solo play, it's a good look, it's a solid flick, but it's too linear, Jorby. You need to try and get that ball across the field and go for a midfield pass in the same way that Novus are. And also, if you could match the physical plays, that'd be great too.
You know, another clear for Firefox, but it's looking like game one will be Novus's. Though they do not start how they did earlier today, going down by one game at all. In fact, they'll take the lead and the start in the series. Yeah,
and I am convinced that, you know, obviously what the coach said was completely accurate. These guys just needed a good warm-up, and then now things are flowing for them. I came into the series thinking that Noble were going to have the advantage. Again, this is just the first game. We could easily see a bounce back, but this was a dominant showing, and we saw, like we touched on briefly, Jorby, just way more passes into the midfield from Novus. They were looking for each other, very aware of their teammates, whether it was moving towards the offensive side or transitioning back to defense and taking the boost. They just seem a league ahead so far in the possession game.
Yeah, and I mean, like I said, for Noble, it started off so good with that Firefox goal 24 seconds into the game. But then after that, this kept happening. Renan forced into tough save opportunities. And then the kickoff after Tander already destroyed Habercamper once. He did it again to him on the kickoff. And there was just no real room for Noble to get started on anything. The passing ideas were there. They didn't feel like they had the space. But for Novus, they had all the space. So those infield passes felt easy to connect.
Yeah, and they were not having any difficulty with the boost. I talked about earlier how Math had an impact on this Novus team by taking the corner boost a lot. We didn't see that from Noble. And you're giving Kaio, if you're giving Kaio a full boost pad, the man was shooting 50% goals, 1.2 goals per game in the previous series. You cannot give this guy opportunities. He's going to hit his shots almost every single time. So, Jorby, you got to take the boost from him and be a little bit more aggressive if you're Noble.
Yeah, Kaio has been looking pretty solid on the side of Novus, involved in pretty much every value created opportunity that Novus have gotten in game one. We'll see if game two is more of the same and how Noble tried to adjust. Firefox, no time for him to get a flick. Tander was all over him. Kaio misses the ball. Card shot blocked by Habercamper, but that miss from Kaio was the real pressure opportunity lost.
Yeah, I really like that idea of going for the miss. I mean, just creating the pressure and forcing the defense to be a bit fearful of if you're going to hit the shot or not. We've seen Habercamper now forced to get a couple of clears. That's a good midfield pass, but an eager clear from Firefox as it just gave away possession, and we're back into the defensive side for Noble.
Well, he's looking for Renan, Habercamper. He finds him. Renan, difficult push, but he gets the dunk on top of the defender. Firefox keeps it locked. Habercamper got bumped, so he can't follow it up in the corner, but Renan's going to follow him up, and he can't keep hold of the ball. So Kaio will get a high tap up, giving Card a chance to move forward again, but there's another broken effort by Noble from midfield, Turtle.
Yeah, and it still seems like the Noble defensive line is a bit pushed back. They're prioritizing the backboard positioning, which is great. You know, I love to see the rotations go all the way to the backboard and push that defensive line a bit back. But whenever you're going up against this Novus team that's passing so well, you've got to have some midfield presence, or else they are going to take advantage of it and run all over you.
Ooh, Renan got bumped into Tander and then ended up stopping the ball for a second, but it didn't really do much for possession efforts for Noble. And Kaio just wraps around one. Firefox forced to retreat. Renan can't get back to the ball. Infield pass to Habercamper all over it. Renan in a tough spot to grab that ball. Card just back passes it to Kaio. And here we go again for Novus.
Yeah.
Does he have that touch? No, Habercamper's got the back wall, so Again, defense for Noble. We saw some of this at the start of game 1. Is decent right up until you miss the ball. And Renan, lucky that wasn't an own goal into his teammate.
Yeah, and I mean, it's much easier said than done, Jorby, to get these interceptions. You can see the passes that Novus are going for. It's very fast across the midfield, but I feel like I'm waiting at this point for Noble to realize, you know, there's that midfield space that we're giving to him. We can intercept a couple of those passes and get a really solid-looking counterattack onto the Novus half.
Oh, it's been difficult to hang on to the ball. Firefox wrapping around the corner just to get a touch against Kaio, but Tander's the guy to follow it up. Haverkamper was forced to wait, and the positioning has been as such for Noble. Renan, another challenge. Can he get Noble in a spot where they can actually take position in midfield? Firefox, solid follow-up on the challenge, but can't find the ball against Card. Haverkamper, he'll take his chance against Kaio, and that's a hard challenge that Firefox can't really grab, and the play dies for Noble.
And you can see the demo and how that takes into effect there for Tander as he took out, I believe it was Renan. I couldn't quite see who the name tag was before he exploded, but that opened up a lot of space. And we haven't seen that much physical plays from Noble as they're rotating back. You can see Haverkamper actually wanted to get one on Card, but the toss-up to Kaio down to the bottom right. He's still going for the ball and keeping possession inside this half of Noble.
Oh, that follow-up touch from Kaio. Definition of never giving up on the play if you've got another touch in you, and Card trusted him fully for it. And it almost rewarded Novus with a goal. But here comes Kaio again. He's got one touch. Renan quickly gets up there. No chance for a rebound. But Tander hops right on top of it, beats Renan to the ball. Can Novus get set up right here? Tander, pot shot towards the net. Firefox and Renan. Oh, nope. Renan misses the touch. And now Kaio, he sees Card. Firefox gets the touch.
I'm trying to pay attention to these players' boosts on Noble. It seems like the midfield presence is basically non-existent because they can't get the midfield boost whatsoever. Constantly getting taken out, but there is the interception we had been waiting for. Haverkamper got really good positioning, found that pass, and got it right across the Renan.
And Renan was just a benefactor of stealing that corner boost, trying to rotate back into position, and just happened to cross the plane right as the challenge happened for Haverkamper. So excellent work. Overall, Noble getting that benefit, and maybe they can hold on to this lead. But, you know, Novus have been threatening. They only have 3 shots on net, but they have controlled the ball for the majority of this game, Turtle.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And Haverkamper, that was what I've been asking for, you know, trying to read where that pass was going. That's a difficult one off the corner, though. Renan had to try to pre-jump it, but it wasn't enough. This ball was blazing into that corner.
Yeah, Renan, low boost situation. You're hoping you get the read perfectly off the corner. And from where it was bouncing, you knew it was going to be somewhere in the center, which is why he jumped so, what's the word? I was going to say direct on, but kind of perpendicular. It's going to be weird if I start trying to talk about geometry.
Bring out
either way, he missed the read.
We're here for it.
That's all that matters.
Oh, and the flip reset. Okay. Card getting a little bit fancy here. We haven't seen I mean, the mechanics have always been solid for South America, but you know, to their standards, where are the flip resets, Jorby? I want to see the double taps, the stealing shots. I know it's coming.
To be fair, there hasn't been that much space. Kaio's gone for a couple of them, but Noble's done a pretty good job of making sure that they don't allow too much space for Novus. That being said, there's also been some attempts on flip resets that just haven't gone into the net.
Right.
Time ending in regulation. Haverkamper gets another push here. Card tries to stop the attack, but Renan's got the catch. One to beat on Kaio, and he is all over him. Cannot tackle Firefox, so the ball stays in the air for just a little while longer. There it dies. We got overtime.
Oh my goodness. I'm not sure how to even view this match, you know, in terms of possession. It started out, Novus, so strong. Every single shot looked threatening, but then Noble, once they got a single opportunity from Haverkamper's really good prediction on the pass, it was lights out for that team. But somehow, some way, we found ourselves into overtime, and we'll see if that space is still going to be created. It is for Firefox. One shot for this man, and he nails it.
And this one's on Kaio. He jumps up and just doesn't have the speed. Wow. He was already accelerating forward, and then Firefox gets that second touch off the sidewall, and he can't break fast enough because that ball gets so much height on it. So he has to jump immediately, and as a result, the ball flies over his head. Firefox gets one more touch to put it in for Noble. And yeah, Turtle, this one will not be a sweep like the last match.
I mean, that was so clinical, though, from Firefox. You can see at the scoreboard, he has one shot and one goal, Jorby. We barely saw him on the offensive side. not too much involvement whenever it comes to pushing down the field. He was more on the backboard getting those clears, but give him one chance, he's going to hit it into the top right corner, and I think that's what makes Noble so strong. Maybe they're not the most aggressive team, they're not the most positionally aware team, but when they have those chances, they're going to hit them.
Yeah, and I mean, for all the pushes that Novus did have, give credit for the 80% of the time that Noble were able to get the clear and take advantage of either misplays or relaxed rotation on the orange half from Novus. Novus weren't able to punish Noble in a couple of situations where you felt like they should have scored a goal, and you caught Noble out a couple of times. But we'll see how both teams adjust in game number 3, because I don't know how often those whiffs are going to happen, but they keep turning into goals for either team.
Yeah, and I'm a bit concerned right now for Novus, because Kaio, while I talked about him in the previous years popping off, we haven't seen the biggest impact from him on offense with the pressure we've seen. You know, I would have expected Kaio to at least gotten 2 or 3 with the midfield passes look good. I just think it comes down to that striking now for this Novus team, Jordan.
Ooh, that's a good follow-up from Card to give Kaio space on a challenge. Where's Tander? There he is, flying back in to keep the ball over here, but Renan gets in front and is able to kill the push for a second. Oh, that touch was enough to at least give them a little bit of time to watch Kaio go the distance here in the air, and can't quite get a handle on the flip reset. I don't think Noble feel too threatened by Kaio's ability, but they do feel threatened by Card. Firefox able to pick up that save.
Well, it's a good read, and now look at him. He's able to transition out with some boost, take the corner. Good aggression from Noble. And Novus are put in a sticky situation that they haven't been in before, but Kaio, doesn't matter. He's still going to find the save.
Firefox, another challenge back over to Renan. Habercamper on the pass, but to commit. Card gets the touch on the save. Tander's out of position, and he's very happy. Firefox went for the catch, because now they got to push and work a little bit harder. Renan sinks it. Finesse in the top corner.
Check out this flick from Firefox. Wrap around the ball and then just toss it to the moon. Renan's going to come in for an easy shot. That setup from Firefox was so clean, Jorby. You can't ask for a better one.
And Renan has to be in the perfect spot for a shot in the top half of the net like that. Excellent job by Noble. But can they stop a quick push from Novus? Card. Well, he's not going to get much for his effort there. And Noble's defense, something that I do believe has been a positive note overall when they haven't whiffed. It has worked out for them, and maybe they can hang on to this lead. A little more confidence under the hood, if you will, Turtle. Nice pass to Firefox. Card makes the save.
I mean, you were talking about confidence. You can see it in their play. They are moving up much easier and much quicker than before. Habercamper even here taking a cut in rotation to go for the 50 and keep it in their side. That is huge. We did not see that in the first game, and it looks like this Novus team are going to have to adapt and figure out what to do, because the same strategy of those midfield passes and dribbles out of the defense is not working.
Now Habercamper sitting around midfield. He's going to find Firefox, and this has been Noble's offense. Now try to pull somebody up into midfield out of Novus if you have the space. Then just take a shot. Just rip it. If it's against the back wall, backboard, fine. As long as we can collect the boost and force Novus to work to get this clear. Tander has no boost, but dominance power using all the length of it. Is the goal going to be there for Novus? No, Tander had no boost, couldn't get the shot. It's going to continue to be Noble on defense, hanging on. Can Tander get a pass here? No, he couldn't really get a catch on the ball, so the play dies in midfield.
That was unreal. Tander. His teammate got demoed, still found the dunk, but then on the other side, the pass is so clean. Habercamper off the crossbar. You're going to want another look at that. I would be feeling the pain right now, Jorby, if I just missed that into crossbar.
Well, here's Habercamper and just can't get a real pressure touch onto the ball. Card underneath and misses the flip reset. Nobody expected it though, and here comes Kaio. Habercamper gets up in time, and Tander is forced to turn around in midfield, but he makes the touch happen. Can Noble turn this into a push? Habercamper taking it away from Kaio. Next up is going to be Renan, but he can't get to it. So Firefox will have to clean up here in midfield. But Noble, Habercamper especially, he gets a good touch. Kaio comes around, and that was interesting because it looked like, was that Card on the far side, Turtle, that looked like he had an angle on net, and instead it was Kaio that went for it?
Well, and then Kaio, even when he does go for it, it's such a soft hit. If you're going to take charge and cut in rotation over Card, like we just saw, that's fine, so long as you've got the better angle. Card now with the flip reset. Tander, the demo, doesn't connect. Card did connect on the flip reset, but he ended up finding a goalkeeper instead of the back of the net.
And the ideas are good for Novus. They have the right idea about how to beat the defenders, but they're just missing the shot. They're missing the quality opportunity on net. Every touch is great until the player has to shoot the ball.
Yeah.
Kyle launches it downfield and he splits two defenders. How does this get through?
I guess your shooting doesn't matter so long as the defense can't find any contact. This is two players that you've got to make a touch there, Jorby. There is no excuse. That's a freebie given to Novus.
After all of that effort on defense, after Haberkamper's 4 saves, 6 total for Noble, the pain.
Well, he hit the crossbar too. So you hit the crossbar, then also you just miss and completely whiff the save. Now almost another chance given to Tander. This is getting a bit risky for the defense of Noble that has been so strong.
And Noble have to keep calm. They can't feel desperate or can't feel too urgent on defense. Don't hop too early, don't get panicky. You can certainly do so in this type of situation. Haberkamper been reliable for the most part as third man. Now he takes first man and flip reset, no goal. Kaio kicks it over Firefox. Tander waits, but Kaio decides to take it himself. And there's just no angle out right now for Noble. Card's shot is saved. Taken away by Firefox. Kaio gets in front of it to keep the push going for Novus. But does he find a way through? Yes, Kaio pulled off on the initial challenge. Now the pass to Tander. Off the crossbar and out. It fell back to him. No goal for Novus. Do they have another one as time expires? Kaio gets the push, but Firefox takes the ball away. Renan's downfield. He gets one touch. Haberkamper's in the sky, and the shot is saved by Card, and the bounce comes off the ramp. Firefox, he knocks it away, but it's got to be Haberkamper's ball. No, Tander able to send it away. Is he going to put it into the ground? Yes. Holy moly.
I don't have any words right now. I'm out of breath right now, Jorby. This is unreal. I'm surprised they kept it up for that long.
You're out of breath.
We almost saw. I haven't even been talking and I'm out of breath, Jorby. I feel bad for you right now. This is crazy.
Oh no, it's all good because here comes Kyle off the ceiling, but it's saved by Renan, and the ball falls right back into him again. Both teams have had the benefit of gravity or inertia, giving them another touch onto the ball because they usually don't have boost. Here's Card. He gets over the defender and into the net. Another win for Novus.
Oh, and check out this play. He saw all that space and feathered his boost perfectly. You have to get right under the ball and use the arrow to find a little bit more power, get it past the goalkeeper, finish off the overtime, and get Novus in the lead.
Woo.
I'm sweating a little bit, Jorby. I'm not gonna lie.
My phrase would have been, if Novus lost that, was, you know, you had your chances, because 14 shots on net and only 2 goals to show for it. It tells you how much work Noble did on defense with what? It was 9 saves. So 9 saves out of the 14 shots. That tells you Noble, they're working for it hard, man, but just too strong Card.
Yeah. I still think that Novus, honestly, coming into this matchup, look better with what we've seen so far. The one link we're missing is the shooting. I think if we get better shooting from Card, Kaio, and Tander, all 3 of them together, which isn't a lot to ask for given the mechanics of each individual player, Jorby. And it does seem like it's ramping up just a little bit, and you can tell with that overtime goal with how mechanical it was and how difficult that angle seemed to be for my boy Kaio. Or was it Card who got the overtime goal? I can't remember.
Yeah, Card.
I'm already okay, good. Just want to make sure.
Kyle's gone for a bunch for sure. You know, Noble, that whiff really hurt them, and you could tell it definitely affected their mentality. They started diving at some plays. They felt like they had to hurry up on a couple of challenges that they didn't need to, and they got picked apart on that. They got the play slowed down on them. Yeah, you didn't really see like hard fakes or anything, but it was just the slowdowns on the challenges that made them lose a couple of those touches. Noble have played a good series. It hasn't been a great series from Noble. These whiffs are killing them.
Well, and they've also been stuck a lot, Jorby, on the defensive side. It seems like whenever they can't find, you know, a key defensive rotation where they're moving out, you know, they don't find that team on the other side. It just ends up getting thrown away. That possession completely dies, and you're left to look for boost that's getting stolen.
So how does Noble fight through the miasma that's been extended stays on defense? Just stuck in this dull rhythm of constantly hoping for another clear, wondering when you're actually going to get another chance to shoot the ball on net. and eventually you're out of boost, out of time. Noble have a lot of work to do to get past that. And Renan already facing a lot of heat here from Novus. Kaio almost got that shot on net. The Firefox full tank has the air dribble, slips under one. Ooh. Can't quite keep himself behind the ball, but this is a setup for Renan. Kaio bumped down a net and Card takes the save.
Oh, that was such a clean rotation from Card. He stayed on the backboard and kept that positioning going across, even with that shot and how accurate it was. His positioning, too good, got the save and keeps them tied up at 0-0.
Bounce off the ramp means Card has to jump up real quick for a touch. Habercamper's challenge won't really give Noble anything. Firefox, nice initial touch. Can he find a weave against Tander? He lost the ball on coming down to the field. And Noble struggling to find a real solid touch out.
Man, and I feel for Noble. You can see Lucas Firefox trying to get a clear Card. Little flashy mechanics. Tander with the finish. This is the Novus striking I wanted to see, and they've answered it.
And Card gets it perfectly. He keeps himself level with the ball. Don't get too high above it. Maintain speed with the ball. You don't want to be going too fast, too slow. Everything you need to do for a flip reset, yada, yada. But then just delays the flip or delays getting under the ball just long enough for Noble to bite. And that's all she wrote. Oh, and Renan had a net and he missed it. Banged it off the crossbar. Kaio now some space. Slips under Habercamper. Kaio just going to take it himself.
He's still going.
Favoring the solo. Yeah.
That was, I think that was 3 challenges back to back to back. He won now. Card off the backboard into the midfield. Kaio, it was a difficult angle. Look at the mechanics, Jorby. They have stepped it up completely. The speed is there. The flip resets and the unique shooting, like Card right there, falling on top of the ball. You can't expect that, no matter how good your defense is that we've seen from Noble. You can't stop those mechanics.
Oh, nice pass from Card out. Completely threw off Noble's expectation of the play. And it gives Novus another angle forward. That's the creativity coming into play for Novus. We haven't really seen it from Noble.
Yeah.
Granted, they haven't had the space in the booth. We've been talking about it. Novus pops this one up. Novus still have to be careful. They haven't been perfect either, and that's why Noble have taken a game, in this match.
Right. I mean, Noble seem a bit nervous, I'd say, on the defensive side. Renan here going for a flick out, but it's just to the other team. When they try to slow down the play, they're not winning the 50s. Firefox, he lets the other team get a touch. The pass is ruined, and just like that, a lot of the momentum you were trying to build is completely gone, and it gets turned over. Novus, now with the transition out, it's so flat from Noble, and you would love to see a little bit more creativity that you mentioned, Jorby, and some better overall dribbles and or challenges.
Kaio finds the shot in front of the box. Novus picked this up. Renan, he tried to get the clear, but it was not the touch he needed. Habercamper couldn't make up for it, and it was an easy opening for Novus to pick.
That's the creativity. Card's touch, it was so soft, using the bottom half of his car to get that touch out. He's not prioritizing the shot himself or being a bit selfish. Instead, he dishes it out, and that is a lovely play from Novus. These guys, they are flowing and working so well as a team.
Yeah, it's kind of what we saw from True Neutral. We saw the difference in gameplay from Rebel being that their touches are always intentional. They want to get it to a teammate. They want to control the ball. Controlled chaos is what we were saying last match. And that's exactly how Novus are playing this right now. You get the most valuable touch. Don't just hit the ball to make a challenge. Don't just try to push forward for the sake of pushing forward. Actually find the gaps in the opponent's rotation and try to take advantage of that position to take advantage of that. Here comes Card. He can't find the touch. Renan able to take that ball out for a save.
Yeah, and again, this is to go into match point for Novus. That's going to seal the deal, Jorby. 1 minute and 1 second left. I don't know if it's enough for Noble, no matter how well they play, to come back in this game. They're going to have to go back to the drawing board.
I mean, Noble have 7 shots on net, Turtle. But how long ago was their last shot? How long ago was it? It feels like a minute and a half since they last shot the ball. Like, oh, they're going to get another one for free. Oh, no.
Pain. Absolutely.
No.
Pain.
Oh, man.
Was this a speed flip? How did Kyle get there so early? Oh, it was just a Firefox miss.
He just turned his car completely sideways. He messed up his landing. He got the speed flip, but then he messed up his landing.
I still can't believe that they even have 7 shots whenever they're moving out. And it's not as a roast or anything to talk bad about Noble. Like we've mentioned, the defense has continuously looked good, especially on the backboard. But it's the steps that follow where they're getting beaten, excuse me. They go for a dribble, they miss the flick, Jorby, and then you're giving up possession right away. There's nothing else in store. Meanwhile, Novus, you've gotten clean passing plays, beautiful mechanics, couple of flip resets, toss them in there. A healthy mix, I'd say, of a Rocket League offense.
Would it be accurate to watch Haberkamp, to say Haberkamper got a really nice flip reset? Would that be accurate to say? Yeah.
No, I would like that. I would
just like it's not a flip reset. Excuse me.
We take it either way, okay? Off the ceiling. Maybe that's the energy they needed. Something to get them going on offense instead of being trapped on their own half.
But I think that my earlier point that I was going to say was on defense for Rebel earlier today and now Noble. It feels like the difference is this, and this is going to sound weird when I say it, but this offensive-minded defensive positioning, if that makes sense. So like if you're first man on defense, you notice Novus, teams like Novus and True Neutral take that first man and they try to be a disruptor more. Oh, nice. Oh, nice.
Whoa, whoa. Hey, this was a difficult angle, Jorby. How dare you, okay?
I'm sorry.
This one,
How many other times are you going to hit an angle like this, Turtle?
I mean, I don't know. Okay, it's a little tough. That was a nice pinch across, and I think you're just killed in this game. You want to forget about it and move on. But I want to hear this theory that you were talking about, Jorby.
No, yeah. It's not anything wild. It's what NA and EU do all the time. But something that teams in South America are starting to do, at least for Novus and True Neutral, is this always having somebody ready to follow it up on defense. What you're seeing for Noble is just waiting. The second and third man just sit back. They play the loss on defense. And you just can't do that when the region has offense as fast as they do. When you have 3 players that are capable of killing you by themselves. So I think that Noble, they have to get away from this passive defensive approach. Otherwise, they're never going to get the ball. The first man has to go down for a pass. You have to put yourself in a position, shadow yourself against the attacking rotation so that you're actually in position to win the ball. They're never in position to win the ball on defense, boost or not.
Yeah, and there's definitely a couple of chances and a couple of times where the defense should rotate to the backboard, but at that point, it just seems to be a bit too passive, Jorby, and not something that's ideal.
And I think, you know, Noble, they have shown us some good things, but when you're constantly having to play defense, and we've been talking about their defense, we typically don't like a stat for a team that has a high save percentage, right? Because that typically means you're taking a lot of shots on net. And ideally, as a defense, you're limiting opportunities at all. So if you start taking that more advanced position, then you'll see less opportunities come for the other team. But the difference is, well, how do you position against this Novus squad? They've given you a lot of different looks. We'll see if Noble can make the adjustments. They got one more chance to do it.
Firefox just got sent to the other side of the map. I don't know if he jumped or if it was a bump. My camera was a bit off. I hope it was just a jump, but if it was a bump, that would have been one of the most explosive and physical hits I've ever seen in this game, as Noble are finally not in their own half and move out for Tander. It's a nice flick, but the demo, the aggression from Renan, that is a key that we have been missing this entire series.
Now Kaio and Car are going to push forward. If Noble do get a leg in this match, I think it comes off of trying to punish Kaio in some way. But you can't punish Kaio when he's delivering the punishing first goal to Novus.
Oh, and look at this pass out from Card, and then you've got Tander who crashes the net, gets the demo, and this is exactly what you were talking about, Jorby. That rotation from Tander, if he was on the Noble roster with how they play and match that play style, he would have gone back to defense 100%. He would have taken the safer option, not pushed up too much, and therefore they would not have gotten that goal due to that passive rotation. You've got to take risks when that opportunity presents itself.
And you were even seeing it on that push right there. Noble have to employ 2 defenders to get the clear against 1 Novus attacker. And if you have to constantly play in debt like that, eventually another goal will be in the back of your net. So Card, you see how he used his neutral dash? I'll just call it a neutral dash is what I'm calling it. but he used that to kind of keep his momentum very level instead of going up higher. That was really cool. Really small detail, but cool.
It's almost like the hat flips after shots, just adding that little clean polish. Okay, Jorby, that's what you need. And the bump from Tander, still getting aggressive. That means nobody's on the backboard. And a good shot set up for Card, but it's saved last second from Habercamper, and they've still got to deal with some pressure.
Oh, Habercamper gets above one, but Kyle was waiting for it on the backboard. Firefox, does he have a push? He beat Card to the ball. Tander has to race. Oh, what a puff. Where's Habercamper? He is too slow. Kyle got to the ball first. Card gets to another challenge. Firefox wants Renan, but Card gets in the way again. From midfield, Firefox. He sees Habercamper. That was a good structure there from Noble, but the touch is not what they needed.
Oh, and there was so much space on the field, and now it's in favor of Novus, excuse me, as Noble pushed back the defense. Not the best flick from Tander, but we just saw a beautiful opportunity for Noble. If you got that clear out and found the other teammate who was on the far side, but the pass too strong and they can't connect, Jorby. Noble really struggling with creating opportunities.
Nice win from Firefox, and Renan waits. He's got one to beat for Card. He has to slip around Tander now, who rotated right back in. Habercamper, it's a continuing touch, but one to buy Firefox time, and he's still late to the challenge. Renan back out to the corner, but he can't beat Kaio. And is there any route here? Well, if Renan gets that touch, maybe Card starts to feel the pressure, but instead, he had an easy drive lane to the corner. Now a push forward to Kaio. Habercamper gets in the way, and now space for Firefox. Noble defense hanging on, but an insurance goal for Novus might kill their push. Habercamper picks up the next save.
And it does seem like Novus are using the sidewalls to get passes in the midfield much more frequently than we are seeing that from Noble. I mean, for instance, Renan right there, he hit it into the corner. Maybe could have gone off the sidewall, trying to get that into the midfield and set up your teammates instead. Still, linear play here from Noble that's predictable for the defense of Novus, but there is a chance. They're only down by 1 goal. There's plenty of time to get back into the series, and we certainly know that Noble has the skill to do that.
Yeah, you're only as good as your next challenge in a 1-goal game, and so Novus, every challenge has to be clean to keep Noble away from their half, their net. Habercamper, well, that was interesting to get out to Renan, which I think Tander just helped them out a little bit. Renan gets the back pass over to Firefox, whips around, but Kaio is right in front of him. Just nothing here. It dies. Habercamper lost. Kaio's shot is off the post. That was massive chance for insurance.
Oh, that could have been the security, the safety net they needed. You're going to be looking back to that one after the defense of Noble whiffed and the third man back was not ready for it, but the bump from Tander still crashed in the net. Tander has been doing that this entire game. We barely saw at the beginning of the series, but he's ramped it up in terms of demos.
Now Kaio comes up here again, gets under it, but Renan picks up the next save. Tander just trying to keep the ball locked here forever. Card shot right over Firefox. Renan diving. No one is near the ball. Habercamper diving now, and it's just nothing for Noble. Habercamper, he comes out of the scrap pile. Renan can't get the ball, and Novus take them down. They move on in the upper bracket. Wow, Novus.
My goodness. We saw that save in the final seconds. Renan had one last opportunity, one last chance to get the flick in, but it was saved out from a pre-jump. Credit to Novus. Not only were they putting up crazy numbers and crazy mechanics on the offensive side, but in times of worry and need, they show up on the defense where they get the pre-jump and find the save.
So that was excellent work from Novus to keep that ball locked in to the orange half turtle. And I gotta say, I thought Noble, I was with chat. You know, I was expecting maybe that 7-game set, but we didn't get it. And look, Novus were just straight up the better team.
Absolutely.
They didn't whiff the majority of their opportunities. And while they might not have been perfect on offense all the time, you don't have to be perfect when, you don't have to be perfect when the other team isn't as perfect. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter. Euphoria versus Catalyst coming up. We go down to the lower bracket to round out these this clip of matches. We'll be back after the break.